So a very nice pump within the crypto markets in the early hours of this morning. Maybe this is in anticipation of what Jerome Powell has to say later on today. And as TED Talks Macro says in this tweet over here, a reminder, Powell is going to let us know what he thinks of digital currencies later today. And from my side, all that I can tell you, because this is all going to be pure speculation, I think this is the first time that we've had him like literally address a specific direct message towards cryptocurrency. He was asked in one of the FOMC meetings by one of the interviewers or the journalists what his thoughts were and if they had CBDCs lined up for the future. And he said, look, they are working on it, but it's more in the distant future and not the near future. And he said that we are not per se opposed towards cryptocurrencies and digital assets, and we encourage the innovation, but they have to be regulated. So I anticipate that it's going to have a lot to do with what the potential regulations could be. And that is definitely going to be a market moving speech that will happen in a couple of hours time. I think it's coming up in about 4 hours time. That should be around about 7 or 8 a.m. EST, if I'm not mistaken. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure that RAN will probably broadcast it live, and stay tuned. We'll see what that does to the markets. But chart-wise, what exactly is going on? Looking at the weekly chart over here, you can see that this pump that we had, how big is it to the upside? It managed to get about 8%, 8.3%. It has come directly into the 255 MA, and you can see a little bit of reaction off of that area. So it will be interesting to see if it can reclaim that level. That could be good for the bulls. However, what you are dealing with, bear in mind, is still a series of lower and lower closes on the weekly chart, and therefore this is still a bearish trend. You have to call a spade a spade. This is a bearish trend. It's still holding to the downside, and until much higher levels get taken out around the $25,000, $24,500 level over here, then it will continue to remain a downtrend. So with that being said, I have some interesting things that I do want to show you that's happened with the open interest. I'm going to show you that in a few moments time, but wanted to touch on this chart. I did cover it in the daily candle newsletter as well. This is the S&P 500 on a monthly chart with what we labeled the kiss of death. And that critical line over there would need to be taken out for that to be confirmed. However, with that being said, this is still, although a minor support, it is a support level. And as long as the bulls can hold this level, they can initiate at least a little bit of an upside bounce. And that could provide some relief to the market. So if you want an update on what that kiss of death is, make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. The description is below. It's completely free to join. Looking at the NASDAQ and how that played out yesterday, we did have a wick directly into that 200 moving average, which is the yellow one over here on a weekly chart. Similar to what I just showed you on the S&P 500, you have the support area, and if that low gets breached from the 13th of June, then pretty much you would be losing the 200 MA as well as that low, and you'll be making new lows, and that of course wouldn't be a good sign for the bulls. The VIX has kicked on to the upside, which is why we are experiencing such major volatility in the market. What about the DXY? How did that look yesterday? So it pulled back a little bit, which is probably partially responsible for this slight pump that we've had in the crypto markets. But I'm going to show you in a couple of moments time the key levels that you need to be focusing on. When I look at all the different time frames, everything points to a specific price point that needs to be flipped in order to pivot this whole move into a new bullish momentum move. Otherwise, it is going to be resistant. So be cognizant of that. Small pullback in the DXY, but for the weekly chart, we still have a couple of days left to go. What about the futures chart over here? How's this one looking? So bouncing out of that area. And I did mention to you guys yesterday that I'm impartial to whether we're going to just lose this area right now and go into the next zone. My ultimate target will continue to remain this area over here. But I said there is a possibility we have a little bit of a bounce first, and then we sell off, making yet another lower high, and then come back down to the downside. So we'll keep an eye on that. 3-day chart. Now, this is where all those pivotal levels come into play. So keep an eye out on this. You can see this diagonal trend line. We have been within a major range over here, and a lot of range traders would have been bidding in these lower areas around the $18,000 mark, anticipating that price would come back into the range. Now, what you need to be watching out for is how price reacts when it gets into this zone over here, which is going to be 21,700. So keep these numbers in mind, between about 21,500 and 21,700. That is your key pivotal area where momentum starts to change, at least for the bulls, and bears start to lose a little bit of steam. So any push into here would be a shorting opportunity for me. Looking at this chart over here on the Gaussian channel, you can see the middle of the Gaussian channel is at 21,500. What about the super guppy indicator over here? Price coming into horizontal resistance like this. I expected this to happen a little bit further back. As you can see, I drew these lines over here, but it seems to be happening a couple of days later. Any push into 21.5, so again, 21.5 to 21.7, that is your level to watch. If this level starts to get flipped and holds above this zone over here, ultimately you need to take out that 22,400 level on a closing basis. Very, very important. It has to be on a closing basis, not on a wick basis. Start to clear that level, and then the whole picture starts to change, and there is an opportunity for the bulls. What about this chart over here? This is our daily. You can see, let's make this one bigger, since the all-time highs over there, that is all your lower highs that have formed throughout, and price would be coming directly into that zone, which happens to be at 21,115. So this one is a little bit low. If price does get to 21.5, it means that it would be breaking that long-term diagonal trend line that we haven't broken for quite some time. But if price also gets to that level and closes there, it means it will be recapturing all of these EMAs, which have been phenomenally useful. It's the 9, the 12, the 24, and the 34 EMA on the daily chart. The bear moon just printed. So we'll see if that kind of voodoo stuff has any sort of significance over the next 2 weeks. You need to give it about 2 weeks to play out, and we'll see what happens over there. Touching on OKX, one of our sponsors from the channel, big shout out to them. Just wanted to remind you guys that until the end of September, they are running a promotion whereby if you trade $1,000 worth of spot, or if you trade leverage and you're trading up to $10,000 in volume before the end of the month, I think it was the first 1,000 people that do that will receive $50 of Tether directly deposited into your account. So it is free money if you are trading anywhere and you have an OKX account. If you don't yet have an OKX account, have a look in the link in the description below over here. If you do sign up using my link over there, you will also you'll qualify to receive $50 in Ethereum or in Ethereum proof of work, the forked coin over there. So keep an eye out on that. Now, this is very important, what I wanted to touch on over here regarding the open interest. If you do look at this move that we've had over here, so I have the aggregated open interest, which essentially shows the amounts of longs and shorts that have entered into the market. So clicking on that, you can see that this has spiked significantly, right, to the upside in exactly the same fashion that price has. However, when you look at this chart over here, this is the aggregated open interest stable coin margin contracts. What this basically means is this is showing how many people are still remaining within stable coins, and this is also increased towards the upside. What that is essentially telling you is that this is not a spot driven rally, but a leverage driven rally. So these are big players that are trying to capture liquidity, and I did outline that to you literally on yesterday's show. I said there's a possibility that price comes a little bit higher to capture some of the liquidity before going to the downside, but I outlined to you the risk to reward, and I said, from my side, personally, I'll probably sit this one out, even though there could be a potential bounce. I don't really see it as worthwhile longing into. And the reason why was because it was very difficult to manage your risk and ask yourself, where does the idea of the long go wrong? It would be too far away for my liking, because you would have to have your invalidation level all the way down here. So over there, and you would be going long from here straight into this resistance zone. And I mentioned to you guys that I don't know, I'd rather wait for price to push into that zone and then look for a shorting opportunity, because then managing your risk, and this is what it all comes down to, is risk management. Managing your risk would be a lot easier running a short trade, because you can easily say that you're wrong above this level over here, above these previous lower highs, and therefore it's easier to run a short trade over here towards the downside. It provides a better risk to reward. You can see that on the 4-hour chart, momentum oscillators are starting to reach over here. And again, you have that pivotal $21,500 level. It's your diagonal resistance from the shorter term move that we've had over here. Not only that, but price would push directly into the mid range that price has oscillated within over the last couple of pretty much months, actually. So very interesting area. We'll watch how things play out over the next couple of days. Definitely expecting a lot more volatility over the next couple of weeks to even months. What about this chart over here? This was the range chart, and this is what I said for bulls. This would pretty much be their hope. They would be hoping for some sort of deviation, push price back towards the upside. You broke the diagonal that we had over here, so smash straight through that. Now it's coming towards resistance, which happens to be the mid-range as well. And that level right now is coming in between 20,500 and about 20,800. So watch this area carefully. This area will most likely serve as some sort of resistance. And if you were long over here, congratulations, consider taking a little bit of profit into that zone, at least half of it, and then you'd be targeting towards the top of the range. That's if you are a range trader. What about this chart over here on the 1 hour? If you take your fib retracement level, so yesterday I did outline as well in the Discord group, I said, look, price is stuck within this sort of symmetrical triangle, and we will expect some sort of resolution from that very, very soon. And that, of course, happened. It happened to the upside. And now this is where the liquidity lies. This is actually an imbalance within the market. You can see whenever there's a strong sell-off like that, and it happens in with almost no pauses, the price either goes straight up or straight down. That creates an imbalance within the market, and big market participants tend to push price back towards those areas to recapture what would be liquidity within the zone. Now, putting on the fib retracement from top to bottom, you do have this yellow box, which is between the 0.5 and 0.618, so that golden ratio. And I do expect that price should make it into that box. And then we need to see if it makes it through that level or not. This would be my first area where I would look for weakness and a potential fading move to start to go short. If it clears this level, though, then my next target becomes the 0.786, which is at 21,791. So I don't want to see any closes above this level if I am looking for shorts. And if you are long and you're a bull, you do want to see closes above this level. If you start to see price closing above this level, then there is a possibility that the whole trend is reversing. But we won't miss any of that move. We'll miss maybe like 5% or something, which is nothing. This would take you to a primary level where price often reverts to 0.786 as like a stop and reversal point, and it happens to match up with that imbalance in the liquidity. So these are the zones that I'm watching over the course of today. This is the interesting area for me, and I will start to look for trading opportunities now. The last couple of days, there hasn't been much for me, not worthwhile at least. So this is the zone to pay attention to. If you're not in the Discord, make sure that you join there. If you join into the private group, all you need to do is use any one of these links over here. I think except Prime XBT is not on the list yet, but if you use OKX, BITGET, or BYBIT, that would get you access into that Discord group. It's completely free. You can go in the general chat and all, but if you want to be in the private groups, use these links. You don't need to necessarily trade on the account if you don't want to. You just have to open it, deposit money. You can leave it there. That gets you access into the group. So guys, a very short show. If you enjoy the short form content, please make sure that you do give this video a like. hit the bell notification so you can be notified anytime that we go live, and subscribe. And let's see how today goes. Trade safely out there because it is going to be volatile. Anytime you go into these news events, especially an uncertain news event, it is kind of a tough market to trade, and you can expect massive wicks to both the up and the downside. If you're a scalper, this is going to be a dream for you. So I'll see you guys all on the next video, and cheers for now.